Oh, it's just starting to rain now, look. Raindrops keep falling on my fields. Alright, so this is one of those sort of periodic update videos I like to do, where I just sort of really tell you what's going on the farm and how we're managing and the season and all that sort of stuff. Let me just get in the parlour, not in the parlour. Let me get in the silage camp because it's quite windy out here and you'll probably hear the noise on the mic. So you're kind of be well aware of the weather, aren't you? We've had plenty of rain. Stop flipping raining! Oh! We've had too much rain, haven't we? And so I thought I'd just explain to you what the impact of this autumn's been on us anyway, at least for us, and maybe the whole farming world, because it's all a bit tricky at the moment. Well, you can see behind me, look, I've got the clamp well and truly open now. We've started feeding this to the cows, and they're eating it quite a bit. We've also, because the maize isn't ready to feed yet, we're putting silage into a ring feeder over there for them. And we've nearly gone back a bay already, and we're still in October. Normally, I would expect to be there, that line there, probably late November. Mid to late November, I'd say, because we don't normally open the clamp till end of October. The cows are in, at the moment they're in day and night. They were, so up until yesterday they were out in the daytime and just in at night. Now they're back in the daytime because we've had so much rain. If I can get them back out, I've got a blooming couple of weeks of grass out there for them, which is normally how we manage the farm. But it's turning into a bit of a nightmare really. Because the cows are in eating this silage, but I've also, let's go and have a look. They were happy outside. I was quite surprised, even though it was wet. I know when the cows want to come in, because basically what will happen is they'll start coming to the gate sort of mid-morning and wanting to be let back in on silage. Now, I didn't get that. Even with all that rain, they were still happy to be out on the grass. It tells you a lot about the cows. Cow behaviour, I kind of knew that a little bit. This is this awful gate again. Let me just... So the cows are in day and night at the moment, like I said. Maybe they'll go out if we get some dry weather. But I've also got all the other cattle in. I've got the heifers in. Here we go. You can't really see it. It's not a very light shed here. The heifers are in here. All the heifers that would normally be down the lower fields are in. And these, unbelievable, I can't believe this. They've been in since, I think the end of September, beginning of October. And they came up because it was so wet down the fields. We thought we'd bring them up because we had the TB test as well. And there's me thinking, right, okay, we'll do the TB test. And once we finish the TB test on the Friday, what we'll do is we'll run them back down the fields. Because they normally, the heifers, we normally keep them out till probably the end of November, really. Sometimes we've actually brought them in the week before Christmas. So if you think about it, right, I've got heifers in a shed at end of September, beginning of October, and normally that's pushed back to end of December. The amount of bedding I'm getting through and the silage I'm getting through. Look at this. This is the silage bales we made. Wouldn't normally be feeding this yet. So it's leaving me in a bit of a. I'm not worried yet, but I'm a bit concerned because. So looking at the silage clamp there, let's go and have a look at the dry case. Looking at the silage clamp there, where the cows are, I think even with them in, we're going to be all right. We're going to be okay on that because. It's going back, but I did have a bay left last year, if you remember, but also it's stacked up high, so even if I'm putting it out in a ring feeder and stuff, I'm kind of all right on that. What concerns me a little bit is the amount of round bales that I'm getting through now. You know, when I started using them, I started to think, oh well, we'll just do this for a week or so, like I said, when the cows were up for TB tested. And now we're going on and on and on. We're starting to get through our round bale pile, which is about 300 bales. That is way too early for us to get through the bales. And you know, as you know, I had a hell of a crop of grass, as I keep saying, in May. I assumed that silage in that clamp would last through the winter, and I'd be able to feed it to heifers, and we'd even probably have some left over. Well, we're looking at the way things are going now. That ain't going to be the case, because we've also got these in. These are the dry cows, and these would normally be out as well. These are having round bales. The hay that I made back in the summer, we're feeding that to the other heifers are in the other yard. We're really ploughing through it, and also we're starting to use up quite a lot of straw. So where does that leave us? Well, at the moment I can't really be sure. A lot of it hinges on what happens in the next month, whether we go into a dry spell. Those heifers aren't going out in that field. We're going to have a look in a minute, the flooding. The heifers aren't going out anywhere for at least 10 days, more than that maybe. The dairy cows, possibly I can get them along that far field, and maybe graze it because it's a bit higher up and drier. But I've never ever known an autumn like this. This is not normal at all. In my entire lifetime, we've never had a situation where the amount of rain we've had has meant we brought the heifers in at that time of year. I'm well used to flooding on the fields in the winter. You know that. It's a floodplain. That's what happens. This does not happen down there. Beyond me what's going on. So there's a lot of people, they just say global warming all the time, don't they, for everything. And a load of it is rubbish. I'm convinced there's a load of rubbish said about global warming. But you've got to ask yourself what's happened to the season now, because we're not getting what should be a British autumn. And it's okay for 1 year, we can live with that, but what it's going to mean is if this is a result of climate change, if it is, we're going to have to change the way we farm, because we can't have cattle in like sheds like this without planning ahead for it all the time. But also things like the maize crops. Now, we were very lucky to get our maize crop off when we did, because it was just about before the next lot of heavy rain came. But I'm seeing horrendous scenes with people getting maize in where the header, I saw one video where the header was a foot above the water and they were just trying to cut what they could, and the trailers are stuck. It's a nightmare. Now you've got to ask yourself whether you can really grow maize in this sort of environment. If this is the future, there's going to have to be a slightly different way of bringing forage in, I think. You know, we're going to have to do things differently. I don't know what's going on. This, you know, as they say, one swallow doesn't make a summer. This isn't necessarily what is always going to happen, but they do say warm and wet winters. Well, flipping out, it's quite warm at the moment, and it's certainly wet. Look, if we look down there, we'll go and have a look at that a minute. Look, there's the rain, there's the floods down there. I'm going to just go down the land road with my loud exhaust. We're going to have a quick look. In the meantime, here's an update on the TB cow, TB reactor. I actually have, the TB reactor's gone. I'm going to put a little bit of video on here in a minute. The TB reactor went last week. She got picked up. They were pretty good at picking her up quite quick, because I couldn't book another test until she'd left the farm, or had booked in to leave the farm. But we're now booked in for another test at the end of December. And do you know, generally I was quite sad about this heifer going, because she wasn't even an old girl. She was, she'd only had one calf. She was a lovely little, we milked her in the morning. She was a lovely little heifer. She gave a lot of milk. She was really quiet. And do you know what? I felt really sad. She didn't really have much of a life. She's the one who was ill with ketosis, and Ben looked at her before. And whether, you know, her immunity is down, and whether that maybe will get TB, I don't know. But it was a very sad day when she left, because she was just, you know, all intents and purposes, couldn't see anything wrong with her. Anyway, here's a little bit of, this is not turning into a joyful video, is it? And I do apologise, but I wanted to tell you how it is at the moment. And so I'm just a little example of a guy with a little farm, but there's plenty of people out there, far worse TB situations, far worse forage and flooding situations than me, but maybe they don't have the voices out there on the internet to show what goes on. So this is kind of maybe giving you an insight of what's going on in farming at the moment this autumn, and also with the TB. Anyway, here's the TB cow. Have a look at this. It's only 2 minutes, and then we'll go and have a look at. I'll just quick show you where my heifer should be grazing.
Rich, you're gonna hate me.
Oh no, really? Do you think that's a reactor?
Yes,
You're joking.
So. No, see how
Oh
there's
my
nothing
God.
on the top, no lump at all.
Oh my God.
And then down here, we got
Yeah, I
this
see a huge lump.
huge lump. And then
Tom, we got a reactor. Perfectly good cow going to the abattoir today. Not good. Right. Well, you can see behind me, this is my TB reactor, 501. We milked her this morning, and this morning she's going off to the abattoir. A bit sad. I'm very sad actually. She's a lovely Frisian heifer. She's given a lot of milk. She's only had one calf. We just got her. Well, we just served her the other day, and now she's basically still in the herd, being milked. Probably calve in 9 months' time. Well, she won't calve in 9 months' time. She's going to be a burger. But she's being picked up in an hour's time to go to the abattoir for go in the food chain. If there's any TB lesions in there, they'll be thrown out. But otherwise, the meat will go into the food chain. Let me just spin it around so we get a better look at her on a different camera. All intents purposes, you wouldn't think there's anything wrong with her really. She looks very healthy. I don't know where that lump's gone down on her neck. You can't really see where there might be a little bit of lump there, but she is our TB reactor. So what happens now is she's going to be picked up. We can now book it. We can book a test, another retest for 60 days from now, and if we go clear on that, we can retest again in 60 days time after that. So we're going to be shut down at least till February at the very best scenario. But what a loss. I can tell you this now, we've got £1,810 for her, compensation wise. So compensation wise, not too bad, but it's not about that, because we've lost the animal, 3 years of care for her or more, and also we've lost the milk production. So all in all, a bit of a bad day really. I just thought I'd put this little clip in. So, yeah, so it's just an update really. It's not a massive long video. So there you go. There's our TB reactor leaving the farm today. And I'm not going to film the collection because, do you know what? I'm not happy about this anyway. I'm not proud of this. This is that day. So I'm not going to film loading up. There you go, I'll come back down. I'm going to go into the field in a minute, but I just thought I'd show you here. It always floods here. I think they really need to raise the road up a bit or do something about that. That is a massive flood zone there, always, and that road is now across the middle. Look at that. I've seen people I've seen people drive through there and write their cars off. I towed someone out of there once that they seized their engine because the water had gone in the air intake, and as you probably know, water doesn't compress, so boom goes the engine. Right, that's why it's one of the joys of having a Land Rover really. Right, let's go and have a look. I've got a problem with the bales, look. Oh crikey. Looks like one of the bales has fallen. Ah, right. Right, it's gonna be. Ugh. Oh Jesus! Oh, this is a nightmare. I'll show you why in a minute. Let's get out the other side. The things I do for YouTube, eh? Not worth it, is it? Right. Let me show you from this side. This is a problem. That's just about holding in there. That bale has collapsed because a couple of weeks ago I came down here and the heifers had eaten a bale through there, look, which was supporting that, and that one's now collapsed against the gate. Luckily, it's not pinged open. The gate is pretty written off, but I've got a new gate for there. So that's my I'm not allowed to say the word, but anti-poacher gate there. But I'm out. So sorry about the wind noise, but I'm out in the field where the heifers should be. Look at this. They ain't coming out. Look, it's completely waterlogged. They ain't coming out here, are they? Those heifers are not coming down here anytime soon. So I would normally, like I said, there's a bite of grass out for them. If you don't have them too tightly packed, then it's absolutely fine to have the heifers out on our lower fields, because if you don't have them too high a stocking rate, it's all right. Let me go and have. I'm conscious of the wind noise. I'm going to turn this off until we get to the field where the flooding is. Wow, look at this. I think this is possibly the worst I've seen it. It doesn't normally quite come as far as this. Jesus, look at this. So, look at that. Look at that. Flipping heck. Right, so the wind noise might be really bad. I can't tell until I put it on the computer when I get home. But I'm just showing you where my heifers should be grazing still. They should be out here. They should, by now, they would have this field and the other fields across there, and one in there and one up there. But they ain't going to be grazing this anytime soon. And what's worrying is look at the grass underneath. It's starting to go brown. Can you see that? Oh. So I've got a horrible feeling that, because this has been underwater for nearly a month now, I've got a feeling that the grass is dying off underneath. Now, I'm sure it'll recover by the spring, but that ain't going to be any good for grazing later, is it? What an absolute flipping joke. Oh, honestly guys, this is a trying autumn. TB and the floods and everything. Just going to take a few photos, but we're not cracking on very well here, are we? I'll just take some photos and then we'll get back in the Land Rover, all right? Oh, it's just starting to rain now, look. Raindrops keep falling on my fields. La 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 la. Raindrops keep falling on my fields. Blooming too many raindrops, isn't it? So we're walking back to the Land Rover. Hopefully that's a calendar sale there, because when my phone beeps like that, it usually indicates someone's just bought one. I've got a few left. If you want to buy a Funky Farmer calendar, there's a few left. I was just going to say, I'm finishing up now because you probably heard me enough moaning about the weather, but that's what we do. The biggest impact on farming is the weather and government policy. But if you don't have the right weather, it doesn't matter what else happens, you can really ruin you. I was just going to say, this is a time to concentrate on mental health for farmers and stuff, because it's going to be a long old winter this year, and some people struggle with mental health on a farm anyway, and you chuck in a situation like this, it can be a real nightmare. So if any of you are in the farming community and you know you've got the ability to do something positive, maybe try and hold a social event or something. I went to a very, very good event held by our vets the other day, the George Farm Vets, and they have put on some charity Skittle matches. Farmers like a Skittles match, don't they? And then we had ham, egg and chips, and do you know what, it was just nice to get out and have a chat. And they did it in, I think, 4 different pubs in the area where they practice. And do you know what? It was sponsored by a drug company, so they got the funding for that. And do you know what? It was just a very, very good thing to do, because you get farmers out engaged and they have a chat. They have a moan about the weather, we all do, but actually, do you know what? That's what they need. If you're on a farm, it's very isolated, or it can be very isolating, and everyone's situation is different. Some people don't have the ability to interact with other people at all. So if you are in a situation where you're a company involved with farming or something, maybe consider doing something as a morale booster this winter, because I think we're going to need it. And I certainly was grateful for the George Farm vets for doing that. Right, I'm going to go. Look at this. Oh, do you know, having to do that just to stop people coming hare coursing, that is just blooming awful, isn't it? I've lost 2 bales at least anyway because of it, and I don't need to lose them this winter. Right, I'm cracking on. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. We'll get through this. We've always got through stuff like this, but it's just another difficult one, isn't it? Right, let's go. Let me get back out. You might see me with an arm in a sling later when I fall and break my neck or arm or something. Right, crack on. See you soon. Not crack on in my arm. Not cracking that. See you later. Tesco makes it through.